I understand what it's worth doing when the industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another.
Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
For years, Oprah Winfrey has been one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood. Untouchable, revered, and seemingly beyond reproach. But now, the cracks are beginning to show. In a shocking turn of events, comedy legends Dave Chappelle and Katt Williams have come forward with explosive claims that could shake the very foundation of the industry. The whispers of Hollywood's dark underbelly are growing louder, and at the center of it all, Oprah herself. As more unsettling truths come to light, one question remains: has Oprah's reign finally come to an end? The answer may be more shocking than anyone expected. Dave Chappelle's Hollywood battle. Why he walked away from $50 million and his hit show. Dave Chappelle's journey into the world of comedy began when he was just a teenager growing up in Washington, D.C. He was raised in a politically conscious household, with both of his parents being professors. This intellectual environment played a key role in shaping his sharp observational humor. Inspired by comedic legends like Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, Chappelle started performing stand-up comedy at the age of 14. Even at such a young age, he displayed a level of wit and storytelling ability that set him apart from his peers. By the early 1990s, he had moved to New York City to pursue comedy full-time. He performed at clubs all over the city, quickly earning a reputation as a fearless and intelligent comedian. In 1992, at just 19 years old, he made a huge breakthrough by performing on HBO's Def Comedy Jam, a show that showcased some of the best black comedians of the time. His performance was met with critical acclaim, and from that moment, Hollywood took notice. Afterward, Chappelle began landing roles in major films, including Robin Hood. Though these roles brought him recognition, he still had not achieved the level of success he knew he was capable of. Hollywood executives saw his talent but did not quite know how to package it. Then, in 2003, everything changed. Comedy Central took a chance on Chappelle and gave him his own show, Chappelle's Show. From the very beginning, it was clear that this was no ordinary sketch comedy series. Unlike Saturday Night Live or Mad TV, which often shied away from sensitive topics, Chappelle's Show confronted them head-on. The show did not just push boundaries, it obliterated them. By the time the second season aired in 2004, Chappelle's Show had become a cultural juggernaut. The DVD sales were astronomical, selling over 3 million copies, making it one of the best-selling TV DVDs of all time. Chappelle had become one of the most famous comedians in the world. He was now being compared to greats like Richard Pryor and George Carlin. The show's success led Comedy Central to offer him a massive $50 million deal to continue for 2 more seasons. For any other comedian, this would have been the pinnacle of success. Chappelle, however, was not celebrating. He was deeply troubled by what was happening behind the scenes. In April 2005, while in the middle of filming the highly anticipated 3rd season, Chappelle suddenly walked off the set and disappeared. He left behind the $50 million contract, unfinished episodes, and an entire industry that was desperate to understand why one of its biggest stars had seemingly thrown away everything. Rumors immediately began circulating. Some media reports suggested that he had suffered a mental breakdown due to the overwhelming pressure of success. Others speculated that he had developed paranoia, unable to cope with the intense scrutiny that came with fame. There were even whispers that he had become unstable and delusional, believing Hollywood executives were conspiring against him. When Chappelle finally spoke about his decision, he gave several explanations. He said that he felt creatively exhausted, overwhelmed by the demands of fame, and increasingly disappointed with the direction the show was taking. He had grown uncomfortable with how certain sketches were being received. Instead of being seen as satire, he feared some people were laughing for the wrong reasons. One particular incident seemed to confirm these fears. While filming a sketch, Chappelle noticed a crew member laughing in a way that disturbed him. In that moment, he began to question whether he was losing control of his own narrative. Was his comedy being used to empower or exploit? Was he reinforcing harmful stereotypes rather than breaking them down? This experience deeply unsettled him, leading him to question everything about his role in the industry. However, despite these statements, something still did not sit right with many people. The idea that a comedian at the height of his career, with creative freedom and millions on the table, would just walk away out of exhaustion seemed too simple. Something did not add up. Chappelle's exit was too sudden, too mysterious, and too drastic. The way the media immediately pushed the mental breakdown narrative raised suspicions. Was this just a convenient explanation to cover up something more sinister? What if the real reason for his departure was something much darker? After walking away from Chappelle's show, he immediately left for South Africa, a move that only fueled speculation. The media painted his sudden departure as an escape from a mental health crisis, with some reports even suggesting he had checked into a rehabilitation center. Chappelle, however, insisted that he simply needed a break, a chance to step away from the chaos and reflect on his life. But now, years later, in a private, emotional discussion with friends and media moguls, he revealed that his journey to Africa was not just about seeking peace. It was about getting as far away as possible from the grip of Hollywood's elite. The forces controlling the industry, the power structure that dictated careers and reputations, were far more sinister than anyone realized. And at the center of it all, pulling the strings behind the scenes, Oprah Winfrey. "They tried to kill me." Chappelle exposes Hollywood's dark power struggle. For years, Dave Chappelle's decision to walk away from Hollywood has been shrouded in mystery, with speculation running wild about what really drove him to leave behind a $50 million deal and one of the most successful comedy shows of all time. Now, Chappelle is revealing the real story. Hollywood is not what it seems, and at the center of the industry's web of power, manipulation, and destruction is Oprah Winfrey. According to Chappelle, Hollywood is not just a business, it's a system, a machine that thrives on control. For those who comply, the rewards are unimaginable: wealth, influence, and a permanent place among the elite. But for those who resist, they are silenced, blacklisted, and ultimately destroyed. And Chappelle now admits that he saw the warning signs early on. He knew that something sinister was at play, and when he refused to fall in line, the system came after him with full force. At first, it was subtle. Executives, powerful figures, and media moguls, including Oprah, began pressuring him to conform. There were whispers that he needed to tone down his material and that he should be careful about the messages he was sending, but Chappelle, known for his sharp social commentary and fearless comedy, refused to be censored. He had built his career by exposing uncomfortable truths, and he wasn't about to stop now. But when it became clear that he wouldn't bend, the real battle began. Suddenly, the media was flooded with stories about his mental state. Rumors spread like wildfire. Chappelle was paranoid, erratic, possibly even losing his mind. It was no coincidence. This was a carefully orchestrated campaign to discredit him, led by the very people who once celebrated his genius. And the star of the show? Oprah Winfrey. Oprah has long been viewed as Hollywood's most powerful gatekeeper. She has the ability to shape public perception, decide who gets a platform, and more importantly, who gets silenced. Chappelle now reveals that Oprah was not just a bystander in his downfall, she was actively involved in pushing the narrative that he was unstable. The timing was too perfect. One day, Chappelle was one of the biggest comedians in the world. The next, he was a cautionary tale, a troubled genius who had thrown it all away. The headlines painted him as someone who had cracked under pressure. But Chappelle knew the truth. He wasn't breaking down, he was being broken down. And when it became clear that Hollywood wasn't going to let him leave on his own terms, he made a choice that stunned the world. He vanished. He left the country, retreating to Africa in what the media spun as an impulsive act of desperation. They claimed he was running from himself, that he was lost, confused, and spiraling. But now, Chappelle is revealing the truth. He wasn't running from himself, he was running from them. Hollywood had tried to trap him in their system, and when he refused, they turned against him. They wanted to control him, and when that failed, they wanted to destroy him. Chappelle has now stated, in no uncertain terms, that he feared for his life. He knew that if he stayed in Hollywood, he would not survive, not just professionally but physically. But what happens when a powerful industry turns against one of its own? How far will they go to discredit and silence someone who refuses to play by their rules? The answer lies in the smear campaign that critics believe was launched against Chappelle, one that would stop at nothing to paint him as crazy and destroy his reputation once and for all. The Hollywood smear campaign, how they painted Chappelle as crazy. The moment Dave Chappelle walked away from Chappelle's show and the $50 million contract, the media went into overdrive to redefine his story, and not in his favor. Almost immediately, a flood of reports painted him as unstable, paranoid, and mentally unwell. According to sources, Hollywood didn't just want to punish him for leaving. They wanted to ensure that if he ever spoke out about what was really happening behind the scenes, no one would believe him. One of the most scrutinized moments came during his 2006 interview with Oprah Winfrey. At the time, Chappelle was attempting to set the record straight, but reports suggest that instead of offering him a platform to share his truth, Oprah steered the conversation in a way that reinforced the idea that he had lost touch with reality. She repeatedly questioned his state of mind, his reasons for leaving, and whether he was struggling with paranoia. Observers noted that the way she framed her questions made it seem as though she was subtly leading the audience to doubt him rather than actually listening to what he was saying. Her body language, her tone, everything about the interview, according to analysts, seemed designed to cast him as an unreliable narrator of his own life. This interview, reports indicate, wasn't an isolated incident. The entire entertainment media machine followed suit, ensuring that the Chappelle is crazy narrative dominated the headlines. Entertainment Weekly ran pieces describing his interviews as bizarre and erratic, dissecting his every word to fit the growing perception that he was unstable. Reports from Hollywood insiders claimed that he was hallucinating, overly paranoid, and possibly even suffering from a breakdown. Articles pushed the idea that he was delusional and distrustful of everyone around him, despite the fact that his concerns about Hollywood's power structure were later echoed by other entertainers who had seen the same thing. The more Chappelle tried to explain himself, the more the media doubled down on the idea that he was simply spiraling out of control. His decision to turn down millions of dollars was framed as an irrational act rather than a stand against industry exploitation. His departure from Chappelle's show was described as impulsive and self-destructive rather than a calculated effort to remove himself from a toxic environment. And every time he challenged Hollywood's power structure, the headlines reminded the public of the same fabricated idea: Chappelle is crazy. But now, according to recent discussions with colleagues, in an emotional moment, Chappelle made it clear everything was designed to ruin his credibility before he could reveal too much. Some sources claim that this is a tactic Hollywood has used before. But in his case, one person stood at the center of it all: Oprah Winfrey. With her vast media influence and ties to Hollywood's elite, sources allege that Oprah didn't just question his sanity, she helped solidify the perception that he was unstable. Her platform was one of the most trusted in the world, and when she subtly cast doubt on Chappelle's mental state, it sent a powerful message to the public. If even Oprah, the so-called beacon of wisdom and compassion, was questioning his stability, then perhaps the rumors were true. Her interview with Chappelle didn't just echo the narratives already being spread about him, it amplified them, legitimized them, and gave them weight in the eyes of millions. And once the world believed that Chappelle was unstable, anything else he had to say, no matter how true, could be easily dismissed. Katt Williams joins the fight. They tried to break me too. Katt Williams, like Dave Chappelle, has had his fair share of battles with Hollywood. And now, he's stepping forward to back Chappelle's claims about the industry's systematic attempts to destroy those who refuse to play by its rules. Williams has consistently said that the same forces that targeted Chappelle also tried to destroy his career using a variety of tactics to break him down. Williams, a comedian with a unique and biting style, had a promising career that many believed would elevate him to the ranks of Hollywood's elite. However, his success was marred by repeated legal battles, multiple arrests that Williams insists were part of a deliberate effort to sabotage his image. He described these encounters as setups orchestrated by a higher power to ensure that his career would not reach the potential that Hollywood's gatekeepers had decided was too threatening. In addition to his legal troubles, Williams faced career struggles despite his undeniable talent. Hollywood, Williams claims, kept him out of major roles, limiting his opportunities and stifling his creative growth. He was constantly cast aside in favor of other stars, and as he rose to prominence, the industry seemed intent on pushing him out. Even though he was a force to be reckoned with in comedy, Williams found himself excluded from opportunities that should have been his, fueling his suspicion of the Hollywood elite's control over careers. Much like Chappelle, media smear campaigns were launched against him. Williams was portrayed as crazy and unstable, a narrative that paralleled Chappelle's own public struggles. Williams was labeled a troublemaker, his eccentricities amplified, and his behavior twisted to fit a story that suggested he was out of control. This tactic, Williams claims, was a familiar one used by the Hollywood elite to neutralize individuals who refused to follow the industry's unwritten rules. Now, Williams is joining Chappelle in calling out the Hollywood Demolition Circle, a powerful network that he believes actively builds up stars only to tear them down when they begin to question the system. Both Chappelle and Williams agree that this network is about more than just making stars, it's about controlling them. And at the core of this narrative, according to Williams, lies Oprah Winfrey. He claims Oprah's vast influence in Hollywood and her ability to control the narrative plays a pivotal role in how these stars are made and broken. Williams's support adds another layer of credibility to Chappelle's accusations and shines a harsh light on the power structures that have kept these artists in line for decades. Oprah's role in Hollywood's twisted empire is uncovering her associations with accused individuals. Oprah Winfrey has long been revered as a symbol of success, empowerment, and philanthropy. However, beneath the surface of her carefully crafted public image lies a web of troubling associations that have sparked controversy and raised serious questions about her role in Hollywood's power structure. Over the years, Oprah has been linked to some of the most infamous figures in entertainment. These connections have led many to wonder, was Oprah merely unaware of their actions, or was she actively protecting them? One of the most shocking examples is her relationship with Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced Hollywood mogul convicted of multiple counts of sexual misconduct. For years, Oprah maintained close ties with Weinstein, attending high-profile events with him and even publicly praising him. A resurfaced photo of Oprah kissing Weinstein on the cheek at the 2014 Critics' Choice Movie Awards fueled outrage, with many questioning how she could associate with a man whose harmful behavior was known within Hollywood circles. Despite the widespread allegations, Oprah remained silent until it became impossible to ignore. Some critics argue that she only distanced herself from Weinstein when public pressure demanded it rather than taking a stand when it truly mattered. Another deeply disturbing connection is her endorsement of John of God, a Brazilian faith healer who was once a global phenomenon, attracting celebrities and influential figures, including Oprah herself. In a 2010 episode of The Oprah Winfrey Show, she interviewed John of God and seemingly endorsed his supposed healing abilities. However, in 2018, he was arrested and later convicted for taking advantage of women who had sought spiritual guidance from him. After the scandal broke, Oprah released a statement condemning his actions, but by then, the damage had been done. Her platform had helped elevate his status and bring in more victims. Then there's James Arthur Ray, the self-help guru Oprah once promoted, who became infamous after his involvement in a deadly sweat lodge incident in 2009. After the tragic incident, she distanced herself from Ray, but critics argued that she had helped create his influence in the first place. These associations paint a troubling picture. Oprah, a media powerhouse with unparalleled influence, has a pattern of aligning herself with powerful figures only to sever ties when controversy arises. Some argue that this is simply a byproduct of Hollywood networking, but others believe that Oprah's connections run deeper than mere professional relationships. Could it be that she plays a larger role in shaping and protecting Hollywood's most powerful and dangerous elite? One of the biggest criticisms she has faced is her selective advocacy. While Oprah has used her platform to champion certain causes, she has also been accused of turning a blind eye to the misdeeds of those within her circle. For instance, critics point out that she publicly condemned figures like Michael Jackson yet remained silent for years about Harvey Weinstein. Why the inconsistency? Was it truly about justice, or was it about protecting her own interests? As these connections continue to resurface, more and more people are beginning to question the true extent of Oprah's influence. Was she simply an enabler of these figures, or was she an active participant in maintaining Hollywood's twisted power structure? Whatever the case may be, the growing scrutiny around her associations is chipping away at the carefully curated image she has built for decades. Oprah Winfrey is done. More people speak out. For years, Oprah Winfrey's name has been synonymous with influence, wealth, and power. She has been widely regarded as a gatekeeper to success, someone who could make or break careers with just a nod of approval. However, recent reports and resurfaced controversies suggest that this carefully maintained image may be starting to crumble. Dave Chappelle and Katt Williams have spoken out, alleging that the Hollywood elite operates through manipulation and coercion, with Oprah at the center of it all. Now, other voices are coming forward, raising questions about Oprah's role in the industry's power structure and challenging the notion that she is simply a media mogul and philanthropist. Among those who have publicly criticized Oprah is Rose McGowan, the actress and activist known for her role in exposing Hollywood's dark underbelly. In a scathing social media post, McGowan referred to Oprah as fake as they come, accusing her of protecting influential figures rather than holding them accountable. McGowan specifically called attention to Oprah's long-standing association with Harvey Weinstein, pointing to their many public appearances together, and questioning why Oprah had not spoken out against him sooner. According to McGowan, Oprah's actions indicate that she was more interested in preserving a sick power structure than advocating for victims. Singer Seal also made headlines when he openly criticized Oprah's past ties to Weinstein. In a widely circulated post, he suggested that Oprah had long been aware of Weinstein's misconduct but had chosen not to address it. He even shared a widely circulated photo of Oprah appearing close with Weinstein, which fueled speculation about her level of involvement or awareness regarding his actions. These claims sparked widespread debate, with some questioning whether Oprah had knowingly protected powerful figures within Hollywood. Additionally, a resurfaced clip from the Oprah Winfrey Show featuring Cindy Crawford has drawn renewed scrutiny. The footage, which dates back to Crawford's early modeling career, shows a young Cindy being asked to stand up and show off her body at Oprah's request. The interview has since been criticized for what some view as a clear display of power dynamics, with Oprah seemingly exerting control in a way that now appears unsettling. The resurfacing of this moment has led to discussions about whether Oprah has, at times, perpetuated the very culture of exploitation that she has been praised for fighting against. These incidents are just a few among a growing number of allegations and criticisms that have surfaced in recent years. Reports suggest that as more people re-examine Oprah's past, the once unshakable narrative of her as an untouchable icon is beginning to unravel. As a result, critics are now boldly declaring, Oprah is done. It's over. What's next for Oprah? Can she repair her image? With her reputation under intense scrutiny, the question now is, what will Oprah Winfrey do next? Over the years, she has carefully shaped her public image, presenting herself as a beacon of success, empowerment, and philanthropy. But with growing allegations and resurfaced controversies, the damage to her legacy may already be done. According to industry insiders, Oprah may attempt to regain control of the narrative through carefully crafted interviews, charitable initiatives, and strategic partnerships. Some believe she could lean on her vast media empire to shift public perception, while others speculate that she might distance herself from Hollywood's elite to rebuild trust. However, as more voices challenge her influence and past associations, restoring her once unshakable reputation may prove difficult. At this point, the world is watching. Will Oprah successfully rebrand herself and maintain her status, or has the tide turned permanently? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Oprah Winfrey's hold on Hollywood is no longer untouchable.